Hello YouTube, my name is Jack and welcome back to Wargaming. Today I'm going to be doing a painting video for you. As some of you who follow the channel a bit more closely would know, we are a BAT channel, a battle report channel, and we haven't released any battle reports as of late. That is because here in Sydney, Australia, we are undergoing a bit of a lockdown, so change of plan, we are going to be doing a painting video for you guys today, and hopefully you will see how I paint my Tyranids, which I have plastered all over our Instagram page and on Reddit, so make sure you go follow me over there as well. So today we're going to be painting these 3 Tyranid warriors. They are armed with death spitters and dual bone swords, and I probably built these Tyranid warriors about 8 years ago if I had to guess. That's why they are already painted green and they have their orange and black chitin or armor as well. I understand that if you guys replicate this color scheme or a color scheme that's similar using the same techniques, then of course you'll be painting them from scratch, probably from gray, but it's no issue as I'm going to repaint essentially the entire model anyway. You'll notice that underneath some of these Tyranid warriors is a bit of shiny gold, and that's because for some dumb reason I had decided to spray them with gold spray paint. I have no idea why I did this, but it's a good thing that we're repainting them now so we can get rid of that annoying gold shine that's underneath all of these Tyranid warriors. Now you guys won't need to do this first step as you probably will be painting the models from scratch, but seeing as I've already painted mine, I just want to give them a nice wash of black to get a really stark contrast between the darkest darks and the lightest lights, as we are going for a really kind of cartoony color scheme, and you need incredible contrast when doing a cartoon color scheme. Now while I wait for the green underside of the model to dry from the wash, I'm going to go over the armor again in black. I'm going to do this with a mixture of black and Midwinter Medium from Midwinter Minis. This is like matte medium mixed with some other ingredients, and it's essentially like diluting your paints, but it means that they don't dry. So if you're using a wet palette, it's really handy, and I actually really like it a lot. So I'm going to go over the black armor first, and then we can get to the green underside next. Now the next and probably most important step is moot green. I go over the entire model and all of the skin with moot green, and I don't highlight after this. So this is just the skin color. This is the only color you need. I like to thin it with matte medium and do 2 thin coats so that you don't get any large patchy areas. Make sure that you leave behind some really dark sections that are almost entirely black on the skin, like the joints between some of the muscles or the armor, so that it's not entirely just one color painted over the whole thing. This is a layering technique, so make sure you don't dry brush it, and make sure that you don't just repaint the entire model. You want to leave behind those really dark sections to make a good contrast between the darks and the lights. So at the end it should look something like this. Nice smooth green with stark contrast between the darkest areas and the lightest areas. I also do all of the small spine and jagged knifey bits with more black because I don't want to bother painting them with a different kind of color. Speaking of next colors, it's time to do the bone swords. I like to do all of my big bladed sections with a dark brown color, Rhinox hide. This ensures that it's got a really dark base so that when you highlight over it, it makes another cartoony kind of effect. This is after one pass through with the brown, and then I like to do another little pass through to make a nice smooth finish. Before we can move on to that highlight, I like to move over to the pinker sections, the fleshy sections underneath the thick green armor. I do these sections in a base of Nagaroth Knight, and then I move quickly over to Emperor's Children, layering them in exactly the same way as the skin, making sure you leave those dark sections of Nagaroth Knight so that you can see the purple through the pink. Now that we've gone over those pink sections, we can do the teeth, which are resting on top of them. This is a pretty standard operation of Zandri dust and then Ushapti bone. Just do a little bit of Zandri and then even a little bit less of Ushapti bone to give a highlight over the teeth. And keeping that Ushapti bone open, this is where we go over the edges of the bone swords. If there's too much of a large section which is left unpainted, I also do a little bit of a teardrop bullet hole shape to make it look like there's been some scratches or dents. Also in each of the Tyranid weapons, there's like a little damaged section alongside the edge. I like to make this into a point and then make a smooth curve along the edge of the blade to make it give some kind of variation from the basic line of the edge of the sword. You may also need to go over this in a few layers to get a nice clean coverage. And also lastly, seeing as I had it open, I quickly dry brushed the bases. You guys can give whatever base you want to your Tyranids, but for me I had just basic sand and it looked a bit dull, so I go over it again with the sharp debone for a nice highlight. And next is the best part of the whole paint job. It's the armor, doing all of the lines and scratches. I do this in 4 colors: gray, light gray, orange, and then an even brighter orange. The process is the exact same for every single step. All you need to do is paint some lines that start thick and end thin, going from the bottom of the carapace up to the top for each individual armor panel, making sure that you do less and less of each color each time, so that you have really big gray lines and really small orange lines. The final part of finishing off your model is to paint your base rims, the only color that you can paint a base rim, and that is Abaddon Black. Naturally, I mix the Abaddon Black with a little bit of Midwinter Medium again to give it that nice smooth finish, and I make it extremely watery and use a really large brush to go around the edge of the base rim. And here you have your finished Tyranid warriors. I hope this helps you with your Tyranid paint schemes. I believe that you could pretty much change any of the colors in this video and just use the same techniques and get a very similar scheme. I would maybe try using a really bright baby blue color for the skin and a yellowy kind of armor as well, on top of a brown armor instead of black. I think that would work really nicely. I hope you enjoyed our first ever painting video here on Barnyard Wargaming. Please do subscribe down below. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. Like the video if you liked it, and follow us on Instagram for more painting updates. And if you really enjoyed it, consider supporting us on Patreon as well. We have a huge list of updates coming in the very near future and some big surprises for the channel as well. As soon as we get out of lockdown, they will be making their way onto the channel, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget you can join our Discord in the links in the description for free as well. And with that all said and done, I hope you enjoyed. My name has been Jack, and peace.